In April of 1986, reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded. It wasn't a war. It wasn't an invasion. It wasn't even intentional. It was a systems failure. Within days, entire cities were evacuated. Pripyat, a functioning Soviet city, was emptied almost overnight. Schools were left midterm, apartments were left furnished, playgrounds were left standing. And then, time stopped. This is Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl didn't come out of nowhere. Its world is a blend of real history, literature, and the haunting landscapes of the post-Soviet East. At its core, the game is inspired by Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, the abandoned towns, overgrown villages, and derelict industrial complexes surrounding reactor number 4 in northern Ukraine. These weren't designed for atmosphere. They were real, functional spaces that suddenly became empty, silent, and frozen in time. But the developers didn't just copy reality. They drew heavily from literature, specifically the 1972 science fiction novel Roadside Picnic by Arkady and Boris Stugartsky. In the book, zones are mysterious, dangerous areas left behind by alien visitors, full of unpredictable phenomena and artifacts, where humans are outsiders, trespassers, and at constant risk. The combination of the zone's real-world desolation and the Strugatskys' imagined alien landscapes gave the game its unique identity, a world that feels alive, indifferent, and deeply hostile. The game's aesthetic and mood are rooted in Eastern Bloc architecture and culture. The utilitarian apartment blocks, the abandoned factories, the power lines stretching into fog. Everything in the zone reflects a society built for efficiency, now left to decay. Put together, these influences, the real, the imagined, and the culturally grounded, form the backbone of Shadow of Chernobyl, a world that feels authentic, empty, and eerily indifferent to your presence. What I want to talk about is not the game, not the gameplay, not the atmosphere, but something else. Among the ruins and fog of the zone, you encounter something that feels different from everything else. The Wish Granter. Not a hazard, not a trap, not a simple obstacle. It's a moment. It's a meeting. A story within the world. When you first approach, you realize that this figure, this event, exists outside of ordinary expectation. It does not chase you. It does not attack. It doesn't obey the normal rules of the game and the world. That's exactly why it's so unsettling. The zone has produced something unpredictable, something that seems almost sentient in its ambiguity. In literary terms, it echoes the zones described in Roadside Picnic. There, human trespassers confront places they cannot fully understand, with artifacts and encounters that test their curiosity, morality, and courage. The Wish Granter functions in the same way, a space where desire, temptation, and risk converge, forcing the stalker and the player to confront their own impulses. Tarkovsky's film Stalker captures a similar sensation. In the movie, the zone is slow, oppressive, and morally ambiguous. Characters move carefully, weighed down by their own doubts and the unknowable power of the zone. The Wish Granter mirrors this cinematic tension. Every interaction is measured. Every choice feels significant. And the environment holds a quiet pressure that your mind can't ignore. Psychologically, the Wish Granter works on multiple levels. It is both invitation and warning. It tempts the player towards something potentially miraculous, yet there is no guarantee of safety. The suspense comes not from combat or damage meters, but from your own expectations and curiosity. In that way, it is profoundly human. It challenges you not physically, but emotionally. Do you step closer? Do you trust what you see? Or do you step back and live with uncertainty? The tension arises because you are aware, somewhere deep in your mind, that the zone itself is indifferent. It doesn't reward, it doesn't punish, it simply exists. And in that indifference, human desire becomes the most dangerous element. By combining narrative, psychology, and environment, the wish granter becomes more than a quest objective. It is a mirror of the player's own curiosity, ambition, and fear. It is where Stalker transcends ordinary survival horror and becomes an existential experience. It reminds us that in a world unconcerned with our presence, the greatest danger is often ourselves, our hopes, our impulses, and our need to reach for something just out of grasp. The Zone is more than a game. It is a place that exists in the intersection of history, literature, cinema, and human psychology. It is rooted in real events, the abandoned towns of Chernobyl and the eerie stillness left behind by disaster. It is informed by stories, the mysterious, dangerous zones of roadside picnic where curiosity and desire meet, consequences beyond understanding. And it is shaped by art. Tarkovsky's Stalker, where silence, fog, and empty corridors weigh on the mind more than any monster ever could. The Wish Granter embodies all of it. Its narrative, psychology, and philosophy condensed into a single encounter. It challenges players to confront themselves, their curiosity, their desires, and their willingness to risk everything for a glimpse of something extraordinary. And in that confrontation, we see the Zone not as a game, but as a mirror, reflecting the tension between human ambition and indifferent world. The atmosphere of Stalker is melancholic, historical, beautiful, reminds us that the world can be vast in ways that are unsettling, sometimes terrifying, and always unforgettable. That's why almost 2 decades later, this game still holds up. It even has other mods, and the game has expanded. The Zone doesn't care that you exist, but in exploring it, you'll learn something profound about yourself. Thank you for watching, and maybe see you next time. Yeah, bye-bye.